After meeting Gorak and stealing his ring, we return to the cantina. Notably, the diegetic music from the jukebox is completely gone for now so that the cinematic moment we're about to have can be fully realized with its own music. The moment we emerge, we're confronted by a new figure named Danka, and just like with Gorak, we start with high and strained drones in the strings that then move to the brass, and Kay must feel that same tension as she reaches for her blaster before Donka calms the situation.
Stealing from a pike underboss. First day? Easy. Name's Danka. I'm a broker for every job on this moon.
After a few more swells, we hear another short motif that could potentially represent Donka of a descending whole step followed by a descending major third leap. This will be another motif to continue to keep an ear out for.
Tina neutral. But beyond these walls, it's war. You want to survive?
Donka begins to introduce Kay to all of the major crime syndicates in the cantina. As she does, the electronic drum beats return to move us through the introductions. I was listening for specific themes throughout these introductions that could represent each syndicate, but I didn't hear anything clear enough to determine them as themes. However, as we moved to the huts, the music did noticeably change tones.
Crafty, sneaky. Unlike the huts. With them, what you see is what you get.
So, I'll be keeping an ear out for that as we get to work with them eventually.
Out here, you live and die.
It settles back as Donka and Kay settle into the booth then, before the bass beats return as Donka begins to describe the job to Kay. As Kay accepts the job, the music builds as she rises up from the booth.
Get out.
And who's hiring me to steal from the top syndicate in town?
Sorry, kid. In or out. That's all you get.
Tell your client Kay Vess is in.
Cute. Desperate, but cute.
As we return to playing, the diegetic music from the cantina rushes back as we rush off. As we return to Morgana, low and ominous swells in the strings and brass carry us through, but I wanted to pause for a moment to appreciate everything happening right here for a moment. See, while that low, ominous music track is playing, we can also hear music from some other device playing in the background, and faintly, we can still hear music from the cantina as well. This is in addition to the general rustle of people all around us. The fact that all of these sounds and music are clashing adds to the cultural feeling of the world in a way that we haven't gotten in previous games, and it reminded me of the music of one of my favorite American composers, Charles Ives, who would routinely place different musical pieces against one another in seemingly chaotic fashion to create something altogether new and transformative. If you don't know the music of Ives, I strongly encourage you to check him out. As we enter the Pike Syndicate's district, the music gets soft again as we begin our sneaking.
I've been told you arrived. There's a way in on the second floor terrace. It will take you where you need to go.
Okay. How long have you been watching me? Right.
And the lack of an option to be seen definitely added to the challenge of this, which I really appreciated while I worked to improve at sneaking in this game. The music during all of this does nothing to draw its attention to itself as well. Taiko drums keep a steady beat and are the most noticeable part while simply remaining steady. Underneath, strings and synths play steady drones that lightly swell and change slowly over time, creating an easy to compose atmosphere for everything. Whenever you are seen but not actually caught yet, the brass announce the danger with a sudden polychord full of dissonance that warns you of your impending discovery. These worked well because every time I heard them, it would startle me and get me to quickly adjust as best that I could. But eventually, we make it deeper into the Pike District. As we do, rhythms pulsate on a cymbal while chords in the low brass and strings swell in and out. They also bring out the same motif that we heard when we met Gorak, further enforcing this as a theme for either the crime lord or the Pikes as a whole. But overall, the music remains those soft beats the rest of the way as we've come to expect, or at least it did until I was seen. As the Pikes began to swarm, the music picked up quickly. Each family of instruments seemed to have its own motif attack, moving from strings to woodwinds and then brass in rotation. And I'm learning more and more how the music interacts fluidly with the situation. The heavier the firefight and the more intense the action, the more in fact that the music picks up. It's not just an on and off switch like in other Star Wars games. The music really seems to adjust to the specifics of the situation, changing volume, density, and even instrumentation in relatively subtle ways. This was actually impressive to experience. My guess is that there's a master track with stems that can enter or not based on specific narrative triggers of what's occurring and how we're interacting with the environment around us. But if you happen to know more about this than I do, please let me know about it in the comments. As we reach the tower and unencrypt the file, the music has returned to ominous swells, until we trigger the alarm, and then we're back to shooting in busier music again.
Oh, what'd we get into, buddy?
On the way back to Danka, I stopped for some sabak, as one does. The steel string guitar gave the feeling of a western, almost as if we're in a saloon playing poker, while the scales again brought out the sense of Indian music that I spoke about in my last breakdown as we meet Gorak. And maybe this is just the quote, sound for Toshara, and as we head to other planets, different cultures will be utilized more. But then it was back to Donka, and as we speak to her, the low brass enter before we meet Alira.
Gorak's favorite spotchka recipes. Did I pass your client's test?
Why don't you ask her yourself? Meet Alira.
With Alira, descending arpeggios enter as well. She gives us the fuel injectors that we needed before we depart, along with the knowledge that they know Bram and everything else about us.
I heard you stole something much bigger than this. A ship. Someone's favorite ship. Someone important.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Here, some fuel injectors for that ship you don't have. These should help you get off Toshara.
So you know everything, huh?
Just the things that are important to us. You'll be hearing from me soon, so try to stay alive. Oh, and one last thing.
Yeah?
Bram's leg is healing nicely.
Thanks.
You're in our world now, Kay. Keep sharp.
Let's pay a visit to Gorak.
Finally, we return to Gorak to give him the intel that we discovered. As we speak to him, we don't get a motif this time though. Just low chords and a harp playing arpeggios at first. But the low strings eventually hint at it once more before falling back into the low sounds.
And where did you find that, may I ask?
Just laying around.
Bold. I knew he was up to something, but none of my people could decrypt those messages. Seems you're not completely useless.
The game and plot are continuing to get better so far as these crime syndicates begin to interweave. I'm looking forward to seeing where everything goes, but it's great to see how they exist mutually together while at the same time working against one another in very close proximity. But I absolutely would love to know what all of you think. I'm breaking the game down as I play it, similar to how I would watch a weekly TV show, so there are elements that may make more sense to me as I release later videos for further missions. What are your thoughts on the missions? Does the music changing with scenarios keep things fresh for you? Tell me in the comments below what you think, and consider checking out my Patreon page using the link in the description, where you can help support this channel for as little as $1 a month, or download PDFs and MP3s of projects as I complete them, along with other perks at higher tiers. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to learn more about the music of a galaxy far, far away, and as always, may the be with you.